Alright guys, here we have the Syma X11 quadcopter. Now, pretty neat quadcopter. There's a couple versions of this. This is the one without a camera. Let's go ahead and look at this in the remote quick. Now on the camera version, this would be your photo and this would be your video button. On this remote they do nothing. The middle buttons as well do nothing. They don't even click in. What we have here are our trim buttons for our spin and our right stick trims over here. So those are your trim buttons. On your top right, this is your 3D aversion button, they call it. It'll do some flips. You press that and then press this stick to a direction. It should do some flips. And this is your low-high rate. The quad itself is a fairly good size. It's plenty small to fly indoors, but let's just take a quick look here at something like the Blade Inductrix and the Pico QX, about the same size as a Proto X. So you can see it's a little bit larger. I'd say it's even a little bit bigger than stuff like the Nano QX. Let's get those out of here. It has a nice protective cover here, which has some spring to it, which is nice. Hard parts will crack, springy parts will bounce back. As you can see here, this is the non-camera version. It just has a black start there, or black cover there. And pretty standard looking. It's got coreless motors, 200 milliamp single cell LiPo. You get your charge connect cord, and you get 4 extra rotors there, or blades. The cat's sitting right here like what's going on. It's trying to get in the video. So we're going to get this all charged up, take our maiden flight, test out the low and high rates, and maybe try that flip function as well. It's a little windy outside. Maybe I can try that inside in my hallway where it's a little larger, taller area. And then we'll do a little reviews, talk about how it works. It's a fairly inexpensive quad. It was about 22 bucks when I bought it, and you can get it on all types of sites. I got it from Amazon. So it's a nice low cost, should be fairly durable. Let's get it in the air and see how it does. Alright, so let's get the maiden flight in. As you see, when I press this, that went to high rates. Now we're back in low rates. We're going to start in low. I'm going to take it up and just see if we can get a hands-off hover, see if I need to give it any trim. So here we are up in the air, and right away, it looks like it's pretty darn good trim here. It looked like I might have had it right when I took off, give it some. Let me get it closer to the camera here. And a little lower. I guess I got too close to the camera. And that's a hands-off hover, guys. Pretty darn stable out of the box, no trim needed, and that's a nice hands-off hover there. So this is in low rates, and it's definitely controlling my turn amount. This is, I don't know if you can see my hands here, but I'm giving like full turns here on the right stick, and that's basically as far as it wants to tip. So that's actually really nice. This could be good for a beginner because this thing feels really stable, but at the same time here I'm able to fly it around pretty good, have good control of it. This is nice on their low rate here. Oh, bounced off the wall there if you saw that. And that's because on low rates you don't have tons of correcting power. Oops, that had some power though. I just took off the throttle. That can catch itself pretty nice. Not many quads actually would recover from that. Lots would be low on power if you put the power all the way down like that. So that's got a pretty good amount of power, and it needs that probably for doing its flips. As you can see, it has these blue and red lights, blue for the front and little kind of eyes as well. This actually has very nice control. I'm actually pretty darn impressed. Let's go ahead and kick this up into high rates and see what it can really do. Oop, bounced off the wall again, but pretty durable. Let me go ahead and grab it and then we'll hit it up to high rates. Alright, so I raised the camera a bit and we're back on our pillow launch pad. Now we're in high rates. And again in high rates it's still going to level itself out for you. I felt like I needed trim before, but now it seems good again. It still levels itself out. You can still do your hands-off hovers here. But now we should have a lot more tip. Oh yeah, look at how much we're tipping now. That's a lot more tip than we had. So now for the advanced pilots, oh yeah. Now we can really zoom it a lot more. And I've got to get used to this quad. I haven't flown it more than 2 minutes here. But overall, this thing now has a lot of control. It still doesn't have as much control as things like the Nano QX 3D. Let me grab it again. Alright, let's take it up again. As I was saying, it doesn't have as much control as the Nano QX 3D or things that let you really get full control. The Inductrix as well, you can turn it on like an advanced mode, you have full control. This still limits your banking angles, but it gives you a pretty darn good amount in the high rates. Tons of power. And you know, I'd say for an intermediate pilot in this mode, it'd be great for expanding your skills. In the beginner mode, I'd say that's great for a beginner. It was very slowed down. I'm going to hit it back to beginner mode. And now in beginner mode, yeah, this is full tip now in beginner mode. Let me see if I can get my hands on here while I do this. So this is full tip in beginner mode. Hit it up to, make sure I'm on camera. Hit it up to high rates, and it definitely tips a lot more than it did in low rates. But I'd say for an expert, if you want something to really go expert on, this isn't it. You'd want to get something like I talked about, the Nano QX3D, the Blade Inductrix. Those you can have full control. But something like this would be perfect for the first year or so of flying when you're learning and getting everything going. This would be great for a beginner or intermediate. It really has great connection. I really feel controlled, connected to it when I do my controls. It responds very fast and quickly to anything I tell it to do. And for me, like, I could use a little more tip, but for a beginner to intermediate, this thing really flies pretty darn nice. Let's take it into the hallway and try to see how that flip works. I could give it a go in here, but it says to get up to like 3 meters, so I bet we're going to crash. But it's durable. Let's give it a go in here. Well, I tried it. It didn't do it. Pressing this button and then away. Sometimes these quads won't flip when they're low on battery. I've had that happen on 1 or 2 others. Oh, there we go. There we go. You got to do it like the same time. Okay, nice. That was a nice front flip there. Okay, we don't even need that much room. Wow, it has lots of power, and you kind of hit both buttons at the same time. I'm not sure if my hands are on camera very well. You kind of hit the top button at the same time you flip, and that's a very nice flip. Now I'm doing forward and back. Let's try a sideways flip. There we go. Wow. Now these flips, of course, are just little tricky things that the quad does for you. You're not actually controlling it when it's doing the flip, but it does them very nice, and it's very little room needed. I mean, I've only got, I don't know, 6-7 feet between the top of that table and couch to my ceiling, and it has no problem doing them in that little area. Let's see if they'll do it in beginner mode. I just switched back to beginner mode. Yeah, it'll flip in beginner mode as well. I'm back in high rates now. Pretty darn neat, guys. I'd have to say for the price, this might be a better quad than some other higher priced ones for beginners and intermediates. For an expert, there are better quads out there. But if you're new to flying, you're still learning orientation a bit, you're still kind of, you still crash a lot, you're still learning a lot, this might be a great quad. It's low cost. It seems pretty durable. I haven't crashed it a lot, but a couple times, and it's got nice protection there. And it has a lot of power, more than lots of quads I've tried in the past. You don't get a full-on expert mode, but this thing is pretty darn nice. So we're going to bring it back here, do a flip. Nice. And yeah, I mean, I don't think I have to really stop this and do too much of a final review because I was talking through that whole video, and I gotta say, pretty darn nice. Cordless motors in there, nice batteries. I've been flying it for over 5 minutes, I think. I mean, this video will tell. And it's still going, so it has a good flight time. Really would recommend this, actually, for beginner to intermediate pilots. Check it out. It's the Syma X1. Let me know if you have any questions. Happy flying. See y'all later.